CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Right now on the afternoon edition, pushing back against President Trump. Today, both Governor Newsom and Oakland's mayor are calling for an end to what they call overreach by the Trump administration. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. We begin in Oakland, where Mayor Barbara Lee is standing against what she calls President Trump's reckless threats against her city. That comes on the heels of the president's federal takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police force and comments he made suggesting that could expand to Oakland to deal with crime. Moments ago, Lee stood with local officials and community leaders, calling the president's characterization of Oakland downright wrong. She pointed to recently released police data that shows violent crime fell by 29% in the first 6 months of the year compared to the same period last year. She also reminded Oaklanders that she's familiar with the president's tactics.
When Donald Trump threatens our communities, we stand up, and I stood up to him before, over and over and over again. And as mayor, I will continue to stand firm with you. We'll ensure that Oakland remains a place of refuge, justice, and opportunity.
Trump's threats and his deployment of the National Guard are not about safety or law. This is about fear and control, and it is a blatant abuse of power.
Mayor Lee also said the city's legal team right now is analyzing the constitutionality of the president's threats. Also happening right now, Governor Gavin Newsom calling for a special election on November 4th to approve new congressional maps in California to give Democrats an advantage in Congress. This is a live look at a press conference underway right now in Los Angeles. This is all in response to a redistricting plan we've been following in Texas. If that is passed, it would redraw lines to give Republicans 5 more seats in the House of Representatives for the midterm elections. Here in California, Governor Newsom says state lawmakers will declare the special election next week. The maps have not yet been released. They will need to be approved in that special election. Newsom is stressing that the plan he's bringing to voters is a temporary maneuver. California's Independent Redistricting Commission would then draw new maps in 2031 after the next census. Redistricting expert Paul Mitchell says the plan comes with high stakes.
This might be the whole ballgame. If California doesn't do this and the Republicans do, they could affect not just Texas's 5, but maybe 7, 8, or 9 seats around the country that would be changed so that Republicans can win those seats.
California put redistricting powers in the hands of an independent citizen commission in 2010, taking that power away from state lawmakers. You might have heard the term gerrymandering. It is the partisan manipulation of district lines, and it's been a political weapon used by both parties for more than 200 years. But Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley says the political stunts have gone too far. He recently introduced legislation to ban mid-decade redistricting efforts nationwide.
This is a way for us to sort of, stop this chaos from spreading any further. And it can allow us to, not go further down this road with this enormous distraction.
And here's another live look at the announcement happening right now. Both California senators and the governor all expected to speak. We're going to be following this conference and have more coming up at 5. To our first alert weather now. Parts of the Bay Area feeling a warm up as we near the end of the week. Let's check in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
I love that little peep of a cloud in the corner. You know it's still cloudy and cool along the coast, but it's so great seeing sunshine over the Bay Bridge. And we're seeing a repeat of that again tomorrow as we kick off the weekend forecast with some even warmer weather compared to where we're at today. Now, we had this area of low pressure dip down yesterday, brought in some cloudy conditions, cooler temperatures, and now we're starting to experience this late week warm up. We're in the middle of it right now, actually. Returning back into the 80s over into places like Antioch, 80s all the way up into the North Bay, where just yesterday we were in the 70s from Santa Rosa down into Novato. And we'll continue to warm up as we head into our forecast tomorrow, too, with sunnier skies widespread throughout the Bay Area, similar to what we're already experiencing today. So a mixed bag of 70s and 80s down into the Santa Clara Valley. Not bad, right? Here's what's happening. Just to the north of us, there is this area of low pressure. It's pushing its way into British Columbia and throughout the Pacific Northwest. It's a weak atmospheric river as they're dealing with that. We're just seeing the leftover clouds throughout the next couple days. And then to add to that, we're also just going to be seeing some stronger winds pushing in from the northwest. And we're already off to a similar start. I mean, about 20 mile per hour winds right now into Bodega Bay, about 40 mile per hour winds just within the next couple hours around 5 o'clock. I'll have more on those winds coming up in a bit and how that can impact us here locally. For now, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. Police in Santa Rosa shot and killed a domestic violence suspect this morning after an hours-long standoff. Police say they responded to a home just after 10 on Keegan Drive in response to reports of an armed person involved in a domestic violence incident. That man, who has not been identified, then barricaded himself inside the home. A police spokesperson says they tried to negotiate with him without any luck, and then just before 5 a.m., police shot and killed him. The Sonoma County Sheriff's Office is investigating, and we've reached out for more details on what led up to this. No criminal charges will be filed against the South San Francisco police officer who shot and killed a man who had fired into his neighbor's home. That is the word from the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office. After an investigation, they concluded that the use of force by the officer was self-defense. The shooting happened on Arroyo Drive back in April. Other neighbors told us this all stemmed from a dispute over tree trimmings. New at noon, San Jose is going to now let homeowners sell their ADUs as condos. In January of 2024, the state passed a law clearing the way for cities to allow ADUs to be converted into condos. Today, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan held a ceremony to approve the first ADU to condo conversion in the state. He says it's an important step in building more affordable housing.
ADUs are affordable by design and growing in popularity across the state. And now they can offer the most accessible form of homeownership as well.
Mayor Mahan said the company that built this ADU has 86 more projects in the works. A major change affecting transit commuters across the Bay Area starting next week. You're no longer going to need a Clipper card to ride BART. Instead, you'll just be able to tap your debit or credit card to pay. As Andrea Nakano reports, this is going to ease the payment headaches for a lot of locals and tourists alike.
When it comes to public transportation, there's nothing more San Francisco than the cable cars. Tourists especially rely on them, along with Muni and BART, to get around town. But all too often, they spend quite a bit of their time at the Clipper pay booths to figure out how to pay to ride.
It's really confusing. I'll put it simply.
Oliver and his family had a friend from San Francisco that told them all about the Clipper system, but they still had to figure out where and how to reload the card.
In other cities like New York, you can just tap your Apple Pay, and that's super easy. So it seems like there's a lot of things to do just to get on the train, which is kind of annoying.
I've got the card. Yes. It's a frustration many tourists face in San Francisco.
It was really complicated, to be honest. Yeah.
Rachel Rainton Graham is visiting from New Zealand. She couldn't believe how complicated it was to pay to ride.
So apparently starting next week, you'll be able to just tap your credit card.
Oh, how delightful. That would be so simple.
BART will be the first to start using the contactless payment method, with other transit systems to follow. Many of the tourists feel this change is long overdue.
I mean, they have driverless cars and they can't figure out the pay system. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, of course, don't throw your Clipper cards away just yet, because other services like Muni, the ferry, and cable cars not changing their payment system at this time. We've reached out to a couple to see if they have plans to start accepting direct credit card payments as well, but have not heard back. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. They have a connection in the fields. We're going to get insight on how things started out for these two 49ers. Bit of a bromance in our Red and Gold report. Then we are catching up with some Bay Area students heading back to school and getting a warm welcome. Let's take another live look outside. Speaking of warmth, before we head to break, it's a lovely day around the Bay. Get another check on our weather coming up. Schools across the Bay Area are back in session starting today. Our Veronica Macias talked with students at Satoret Elementary School in San Jose about what they're looking forward to this year.
Some 3,000 students returning into the classroom for Cambrian School District in San Jose. Here at Satoret Elementary School, we should say superstars returning for their first day of class. Students have been coming here and taking a picture, their parents snapping those kids with some smiles on their faces. Satoret tells us that it's very important to be able to do that transition from summer to having the whole day off to returning to the classroom. So give yourself yourself plenty of time before you leave the house. The last thing a student wants is to be late and have those uncomfortable moments. But today it's going to be all smiles. What are you most excited for?
Recess.
Recess? You're gonna...
recess.
What's at recess?
Playing. With my friends. Meeting new friends and classes.
What did you have for breakfast?
Waffle.
The principal also telling us what makes this school unique is that you don't have to live within the district in order to come here, and they've had generations of families who continue to attend. She also emphasized the importance of a good breakfast, filling it with protein.
Good advice. Also, the first day of school for students in the Hayward Unified School District. We were at Treeview Elementary this morning, where this year's welcome theme is hula into the school year, inspired by the movie Lilo and Stitch. The students got a lei greeting from staff. They walked that blue carpet, posing for pictures. All right, back to our first alert weather. Let's take another live look outside from our Black Mountain camera. If you headed back to school today and wondering what you should plan to wear tomorrow, here's some advice from meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Oh, something cute. It's the first week of school. And then, of course, something, a little bit lighter for our inland friends who are going to be noticing 90s returning into the forecast as early as tomorrow. For our friends along the coast, all those kiddos going back to school tomorrow, the layers are super important. But that's not shocking news to us during the summertime anyways. I mean, we are used to seeing 60s along the coast around this time of year. We're used to seeing heat off into our inland spots. Our microclimates do such different things around this time of year, and we're definitely noticing it even more into our forecast tomorrow as high pressure continues to roll in. Tomorrow's going to be a sunny day for many of us here in the Bay, kind of like what we're dealing with already off into the East Bay and the North Bay. We had 70s yesterday in the North Bay. We're back into the 80s up there, and we're continuing to warm up as we wrap up this week's forecast heading into this weekend. So let's talk about some other things going on too. As for the clouds, yes, they still want to hold on tight to the coastline. That'll be the trend throughout the evening hours tonight, and then that fog actually fills the bay once again as we head into the overnight hours, and we'll most likely wake up to some cool, misty conditions just like what we saw today. However, let's take a look at the surface level winds. All along our coast, the wind gusts are going to get anywhere up to around 30, even 40 miles per hour up near Bodega Bay. San Francisco dealing with breezy conditions into the evening hours tonight. We are noticing that as we head into the next couple days due to that system from the north. We'll have some stronger breezes pushing in from offshore, and the places that we'll notice it the most are our coastline areas. Now, that's not to say that we won't see breezy conditions in our inland spots too. We keep a close eye on that because relative humidity is usually lower in our inland areas, and it's a dry summer for us, so fire weather conditions are possible. Just be very careful out there. You know the drill during this time of year. Now, let's talk about this warm up. It peaks tomorrow, and then we actually start to cool back down as we head into this weekend's forecast. Cloudy skies right around the corner. We'll have more on that coming up in a bit. Back to you.
Thanks, Jess. It was a nail-biter for the Valkyries at our nation's capital, but Golden State got the win against the Washington Mystics thanks to one of their star players, point guard Veronica Burton, scoring a career-high 30 points and hitting 6 three-pointers. Valkyries held on to win 88-83. The team now heading to Chicago tomorrow to take on the Sky and continue their playoff push. Levi Stadium is getting greener. The 49ers are launching a reusable cup program with PepsiCo. Fans will be able to return their cups to designated bins, and then they're sanitized and redistributed so they can be used again. With Levi Stadium hosting 10 49ers games this season, the program is projected to eliminate the need for tens of thousands of disposable single-use cups. 49ers, meantime, getting ready for their second preseason game this Saturday in Vegas. And we know that Brock Purdy and George Kittle spent the offseason working out together in Nashville. Vern Glenn reports their relationship has come a long way from their first interaction during Purdy's rookie season.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
First thing, I walk in the locker room and I'm like trying to find my locker. I see Purdy, all right, and then my eyes go down and there's a Hawkeye jersey sitting right there in my locker over everything. And so immediately I was like, all right, this guy's gonna be a pain in the butt.
That's great. A lot of rookies, they come in, they're quiet, they're to themselves, which is fine. But like, I want guys to be themselves because that's how you can be the best version of yourself. And so when I can throw an Iowa t-shirt into Brock Purdy's locker on his first day and he takes it out, I remember what he said. He'll say that he didn't, say a curse word, but he definitely did.
Family show.
Yeah, family show.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Brock Purdy would never say a swear word. But like, that was like the start to our relationship, the start to a friendship, because if you can banter a little bit and you don't get like nervous or something like that, then like I'll work with you and we'll have a good time with it. So Brock's been fantastic since day one. And next time you get an opportunity to talk to him, ask him about our 4th of July party and you'll have a great time there. Because he was in Nashville with me.
That's right, you guys are neighbors.
Yeah, pretty close.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I tricked him. Thanks, Brock.
Yeah, thanks, Brock.
Thank you for coming to throw footballs to me all offseason.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
And you can watch the 49ers take on the Raiders in preseason football this Saturday on KPIX. Kickoff at 1 p.m. Well, cell phone customers, listen up. The data breach that could have you collecting some cash. How to check if you're affected. Coming up next. All right, back live to Los Angeles, where Governor Gavin Newsom is calling for a special election on November 4th to approve new congressional maps in California to give Democrats an advantage in Congress. Let's listen in.
It's another museum not so far away from us. Talks about those 53 days. Some of you know what I'm referring to. Wake up, America. This is a serious moment. Wake up to what's going on. Wake up to the fear, the anxiety. Wake up to what's happening, not just here in Los Angeles, where we saw our streets militarized. We saw due process rights thrown out the window. You heard the word disappeared. I was with a 12-year-old boy born in Oxnard, California, whose mother and father were disappeared. 20 years going to the same packing facility every single day. He didn't even know how to get back into his own home, into his own house. Had no brothers and sisters. He has now disappeared in an attempt to find his parents. That's Trump's America. That's the moment we're living in. So these are sober times. And so I'm deeply grateful to all of you for standing up and for being here today. I'm grateful for all the elected officials that are here, members of Congress, not just our 2 U.S. senators, to members of the California legislature for having the courage of their convictions, for standing tall and standing firm, to recognize today is Liberation Day in the state of California. And as Senator Schiff said, Donald Trump, you have poked the bear, and we will punch back. Here's the good thing about California, folks. We're the size of 21 state populations combined. We're the 4th largest economy in the world. We're not a small, isolated state. I know they say don't mess with Texas. Well, don't mess with the great Golden State. And so we're here with our state of mind, with the clarity of our purpose and conviction, to recognize that we need to reconcile the world we're living in. We do have agency. We're not bystanders in this world. We can shape the future, and that's what we intend to do today. We're here because Donald Trump, on January 6th, tried to light democracy.
All right, Ken, you're taking a live look at a news conference going on in Los Angeles. Governor Gavin Newsom talking about his plan to redistrict California to add more Democratic seats to the House. It's going to be a special election on November 4th. That's what he's calling for, at least. We'll continue to follow this and be right back. AT&T customers could get up to $7,500 following 2 massive data breaches. The first one was announced in March of last year, and then another breach in July 2024. Earlier this month, a federal judge proposed a $177 million settlement for AT&T, but that still needs final approval. In the meantime, customers whose data was compromised in either breach can start filing claims now. Get on it. That is it for the afternoon edition. Enjoy your Thursday afternoon.